So next time I decide to start a vlog, can someone please remind me not to do it at my busiest time of the year? First up, I want to say thanks to everybody who's reached out to me with all your kind comments and encouragement, and congratulations for the 10-year birthday of Outlaw Yarn. It's been really nice to hear from you all, and thanks for all the encouragement. That's been really cool as well. One of the reasons that I actually wanted to start this vlog about building the mill now, even though, well, I kind of feel like I'm nowhere close to that, is just because I wanted to start conversations with you guys. So that's exactly what's happened, which is really awesome. And I very much appreciate all the contact I've had from you, and all the encouragement. That's been really great. So I really appreciate all the encouragement and all the conversations I've had with people already about this whole mill building idea. It is going to be a work in progress for some time. I don't know exactly how long, but I guess we will keep you updated. You'll know more as I know more. May is always a super crazy time because we have lots of events going on in New Zealand, and I'm actually away 3 weekends out of 4 during May. So yeah, maybe not the best time to start doing a vlog. Of course, the other thing is I've also have to work around the kids' schoolwork, because of schoolwork takes precedence over editing vlogs. So while things may be a little sporadic for a while, I'm hoping that we're going to get into a nice rhythm with it all. And also probably as I have more to tell you. So this update is going to be a little bit about the events that we have just gone to. So at the beginning of the month, we had a road trip to Gore. And when I say we, it's not just the royal we. It wasn't just me this time. Last year, Katie came with me, but she couldn't make it this year. So this year, Claire, who is a lovely customer of ours, decided to come along as well. So that was awesome. We had a bit of a girls' road trip. The thing that wasn't so awesome was that the day before the event, well, before we were due to travel for the event, we actually had a state of emergency called in Christchurch. So that wasn't fantastic. There was very bad weather, flooding everywhere. To the point where I was actually texting the organiser of the event, Amy, the night before we were due to leave, saying, I'm not sure we're going to make it out of Christchurch. So it wasn't exactly the greatest way to start, but we got up early the next morning, and there was multiple messages between Claire and I deciding whether we were going to actually head out or not. We had to wait till light to see if the road was even open. Fortunately it was, so that was great. And in the end we decided that we would be intrepid and we would just take off and see how far we got. If the roads were too bad, or we came across a road that was closed, we would actually just turn around and come home. So that was our basic plan, was if it gets too scary, we're going to turn around and come back. Fortunately, a lot of the flooding had actually receded from the night before, so it wasn't quite so bad going through, although there were an awful lot of potholes in the roads, which I had to try and avoid. Not easy, because it seemed a bit like every time there was a great big pothole in front of me that I needed to swerve around, there was also a large truck coming the other way. So that wasn't quite so helpful. I think I only managed to hit one, so I did pretty good. Yeah, it was a less eventful trip down than what I had been concerned about the night before. So that was great. And once we kind of got down past kind of about not a bit past Ashburton, I think the weather actually came out fine. So speaking of Ashburton, we had to stop in at Ashford's on the way. We decided that was the best place to stop for a coffee. They've got a lovely cafe next door, and I managed to get a wee bit of video footage of the shop for you. Ashford's is in one of the most beautiful, it's probably one of the most beautiful knitting shops that I've been to. The building is quite gorgeous, and so it's a lovely place to stop on the road down. For those of you who don't know, travelling from Christchurch to Gore, it is quite a long trip. I usually allow about 8 hours for it, including stops, because I generally stop, you know, a couple of times on the way, plus a stop for petrol. So yeah, so it's quite a big trip, and which is why Claire was coming with me. I'm fine driving by myself, but it is a long way, and it's nice to have a bit of company. So yeah, so we headed down to Gore. Of course, one of the other fantastic things about living here in New Zealand is that if you are ever on the road for approximately 8 hours, you're going to see quite a lot of different scenery. At one point we had mountains on one side, then further down you get the beach on the other side. We even saw a guy trotting his horse along the beach, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, it was a lovely trip once we got through that initial bit of rainy weather. The event itself, so it was 45-degree Fibre Festival in Gore, and it's run by the lovely Amy and a fantastic team of volunteers, I believe, who help her out. It's a really well-run event. It's only been the second year this year. So we did kind of turn up last year not really knowing what to expect. This year we were a little bit more prepared, and yeah, it was a lovely day out. There's about 40 different traders, so it's actually quite a large event. I managed to get scones this year, so the ladies do a lovely Devonshire tea. I missed out last year, so I did manage to get a scone this year. I was very excited about that. It was delicious, but there are food trucks. There were some live animals there, some sheep, but they were also raising money for a cat charity. Sorry, I can't remember who off the top of my head, but there was some kittens there waiting to be adopted. Yeah, all in all, it was just a lovely day. It's always wonderful to catch up with the other traders. So yeah, I did manage to speak to a few of them briefly. It's always a very normally a quick conversation because we're all busy, and either that or we're either setting up, pulling down, or busy talking to customers. So it's always good if you get a little break sometime in there to actually go and say hi to someone. It's often at the events is often the only times I get to see a whole lot of people. So yeah, it's really nice when we can actually catch up in person. So at the events, I don't normally get time to really go shopping. I did manage to buy a cool stripy sock ball for Helen because it was her birthday, and she is the sock knitter. Oh, Katie does knit socks too, but Helen is quite invested in knitting socks, so that's what I got her for her birthday. And I did manage to get something for myself, which is unusual. I don't usually buy yarn, but I kind of had to buy this. So it says their housework is for those who don't know how to knit. Sorry, I was trying to read it backwards on the screen there. That's not as easy as it seems. But anyway, I got this fabulous, one thing you're going to learn about me is I still don't know which way the camera goes after all these years of doing videos. So there we go. Yeah, so fantastic little travel mug there that I got from Goodwill Hunting. They were across from me, and was kind of eyeing those up. So I managed to snaffle one before the end of the event. I don't generally buy any yarn. It's pretty unusual for me these days. I do have a large stash of yarn that from other companies, but I don't really get a hell of a lot of time to knit it. So it's pretty unusual for me to actually buy yarn when I go to events these days. Because I would end up just adding it to my stash and it would just sit there. And not that there's anything wrong with that, because stash collecting is totally fine. It's a perfectly valid hobby. But yeah, I do try now to only buy yarn if I'm about to cast it on immediately. So I have that rule for myself here as well, in at Outlaw Yarn. So even though I dye lots of lovely things that I really want to keep, unless I'm immediately casting it on, I don't steal it for myself, because otherwise, honestly, there would never be yarn for you guys. So that's not helpful to anybody. So anyway, I did not buy any yarn other than yarn for Helen for her birthday. I did get the little cup for myself, so that was a nice little souvenir of the event. So that was the first weekend in May. So it is only a 1 day event, but with the travelling takes 3 days. Our trip back was much less eventful from the weather, although I've got to say it started off in pea soup fog for most of the trip between Gore and Dunedin. So that was entertaining. It's been a little while since I've driven in fog that thick for that length of time, but it was okay. You know, it's a country road, so we were just kind of trekking along there quietly, and we weren't in a rush. We got away nice and early, so we had a bit of time up our sleeves to just kind of quietly travel through there. We stopped at a gorgeous little cafe, and I've got a couple of photos for you. Which is actually a garden centre as well. So Claire had been there before, and we stopped there and got delicious cheese rolls, and they were kind of our brunch. The excellent thing about living in the South Island is cheese rolls everywhere. It's totally my favourite thing. Cheese on toast. So this is kind of a toasted cheese roll. Those of you who have had one will know exactly what I mean. But yeah, that's definitely a plus for living here in the South Island, is that I get to eat cheese rolls when pretty much any time I go to a cafe if I want one. So that was a really good thing. And a lovely spot to stop, and it was a really nice day. By then the fog had lifted, so yeah. We were carrying on through towards Oamaru, and we did end up having a little bit of an adventure. So as we were coming up a hill, there were passing lanes, so it was 3 lanes across in a 100k zone, passing lane up the hill. I could see all of a sudden all the cars in front of me braking, and I was like, oh no, what's going on here? So of course I hit the brakes as well, and then suddenly saw in between the cars there was something running across the road. To start with, I couldn't quite see what it was, but as we got a bit closer I realized it was a dog. And this poor dog was terrified and running across the highway. So we ended up, I kind of said to Claire, the other cars were dodging and just going around it and carrying on. And I said to Claire, we have to stop. And she was like, yep. So luckily Claire is the intrepid explorer while I'm slamming on the brakes and my hazard lights in the middle of a passing lane going 100 Ks. Luckily the guy behind me did the same. He stopped and threw his hazard lights on as well, and Claire opened up the front door and then opened up the passenger side on the back and started calling to the dog. Well, poor dog came running in, leapt in the front of the car, got in between the two of us and wasn't going anywhere. So we ended up just closing. We couldn't coax him into the back seat, so we ended up just closing it and letting him stay in between me. So I'm driving down the road with a dog under my arm, and we were like, okay, well, this is great. What are we going to do now? Here we are in the middle of nowhere with a dog. So we carried on because we weren't exactly sure where we were, but as we kind of got about a K down the road, we went round the corner and into a little place called Herbert. So Herbert is very much a blink and you miss it town. I didn't even remember it was there. I was completely uncertain as to what we were going to do with the dog, other than we didn't want to take him all the way to Christchurch because he would be so far outside of his home territory. So we ended up stopping at Herbert, which, literally, it was like trying to find a business or something that was open. There was nothing open. It was Sunday. So we did a U-turn, went slightly back and thought we're just going to have to knock on someone's door. So Claire, as I was reversing down the driveway, Claire went and knocked on the door of some people there, and who was so kind and said that they would take the dog for us, because we were like, we just don't want to take him all the way back to Christchurch. Like, how his owner's going to find him if we've taken him hours away. So so they very kindly took the dog from us. He was quite happy to stay in the car. It took a lot of coaxing and a lot of treats to try and get him to come out. He was just underneath my arm and not moving, pressed up against me. So yeah, in the end we managed to coax him out the car because we didn't want to frighten him anymore, and they very kindly took him and said that they would try and find his owner. So I have my fingers crossed that he is home safe and sound now. He was a lovely dog, and yeah, don't quite know how he ended up running across the road, but I hope that he is yeah, he was all good, and at least we managed to scoop him up safely, which was kind of the main thing. So that was a bit of an adventure on our way home. Other than that, it was pretty smooth. We did stop again. So Claire was doing a bit of a Google as we were going into Temuka, and she found a cafe called the Shearers Quarters. So we did a little detour off the main road and went and found this cafe. So that was cool, and it was actually Helen's birthday that day that we were travelling. So we split a carrot cake in Helen's honour to wish her a happy birthday. So we could, I can send you photos of the cake that we ate for her birthday. But yeah, unfortunately, she didn't get to have any. But we were thinking of her while we ate it. So yeah, so that was kind of the rest of the trip was uneventful. But I think one little dog rescuing adventure is enough per trip. We don't want to make that a habit. So yeah, so that was all good. Then pretty much I had a week in between. The following week I flew up to Wellington and went to the Capital Fiberfest, which is in Upper Hutt. So again, that was always a lovely event, very well organised. I didn't manage to get a lot of video because the thing with that event is I was actually there by myself. So the problem when I'm by myself is, of course, I can't wander around taking videos because I'm the only one there, so I need to be at the stand. But yeah, the lovely ladies there took care of us. They always do a fantastic job looking after the traders. The great thing is they have a tea trolley that comes around, and the ladies bring you cups of tea or coffee and cake. So yeah, because when you are trading by yourself, it is pretty hard to go off and just get fed. You can. The other great thing about that one is the traders, they order you lunch, so you actually have food arrive as well, so which is always far too much for me to eat. I ended up sharing some of mine, but yeah, that was a really good day, great event. Again, got to meet some other people, fantastic. I got a few minutes with Patrizia from Rewa Station, and I also got to have a longer chat with Joe, who's from Rocky Basin, and the great thing about talking to both of those people is they have mini meals as well. So yeah, so that was super cool to just touch base with them briefly. Just to kind of introduce myself, it's like we'll have to start a mini mill owners club so that we can kind of troubleshoot and help each other out. So yeah, so it was really nice just to be able to put names and faces together. So yeah, so that was really cool. It was great to to be able to meet them even briefly. Yeah, so fortunately the Wellington trip, there was no dog rescuing that needed to be done. Oh, well, actually, although I did wonder if I was going to need to be rescued, because when I arrived, it was absolutely torrential rain. I did pick up my my rental car and then have to drive down the motorway, and it was probably one of the slowest drives I've ever had down the motorway when there hasn't been a traffic jam. I mean, I lived in Auckland a million years ago, so I know what the motorway's like when it jams up. Sorry, lived in Wellington, not Auckland. Wellington a million years ago. So I know what the motorway's like when it jams up, heading out to the Hutt. But yeah, I was actually just going so slow because I couldn't really see the rain, see because of the rain. So it was pretty much about 3 car lengths ahead of me was as much as I could see in the torrential rain. But it was all right. I didn't need a boat in the end. I did get through. Luckily, I had a fairly large car, so that was fine. It was just a very slow trip and a little bit bumpy, but I was in a big plane, so not too bad. One thing you would learn about me if you're ever traveling with me is I am the worst traveler in the world. I get very motion sick, so I don't really like planes, and boats are a real no-no for me. Yeah, I avoid them, which is why I don't do the ferry crossings. I'd rather be on a plane. Yeah, so I didn't shop at all in Wellington. I didn't have a chance to. So yeah, so that was. Some days I would like a little bit more time to just go and be a customer, but yeah. Anyway, never mind. There were a few people there I would have liked to have seen and caught up with, and it didn't really happen. But that's okay. We will, you know. Maybe the next event I'll manage to chat to them. So what else did I do? I'm just trying to think. Well, since I've been back, I managed to, so I was home for a weekend, and well, this weekend. I can't even figure out what day it is at the moment. I'm home this weekend, and next weekend I'm in Auckland. And out at Kumeū for WoolFeast. So while I've been here, I've just been busy packing boxes, getting the stock ready, that kind of thing. So it's been a little bit hard to actually get any more traction on mill stuff at the moment. I think I'm hoping that I've only got one more event after Woolfest in Auckland, and that is WoolFeast here in Christchurch, which is 2 weeks later. So once all the events are over, then I think I'm going to have a little bit more time, and I will actually be able to focus a bit more on the mill and the planning and things like that. I was hoping to have a little bit more news for you, but things haven't gone to plan in the last couple of weeks. This is another thing you'll find out about me, is that things in my life rarely go to plan, which means I always have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. That's pretty much the way it goes. So yeah, it's good to have a fallback. I'll get back to you, I think, perhaps in a couple of weeks. Well, I'm not going to put any time frame on it, but I'm going to get back to you hopefully with a bit more news, but we'll just see how things go once the events are over and I can actually focus a bit more on what's happening. So yeah, so I think that's enough for a quick update for today. I actually have to go rinse some yarn, which is waiting for me in the other room, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.